The capture card is fried, so we can't show anything, which is kind of unfortunate. But you know, we're gonna be working on some stuff. We got a little bit of news for you guys today, so we're excited about that. And let's start with last week, Ronnie, as people were kind of gathering back in here. Last week we were on the road pretty much all week.
Yeah, we haven't been on a
Vegas.
broadcast in 2 weeks.
That's right. Technically, we were on the GameStop. You know,
oh yeah,
Expo,
the GameStop broadcast,
which was really fun with Greg Miller.
Yeah,
and those
announced a couple very cool things, but we'll get there.
Yes. So let's start with the GameStop Expo. We were there. This is the first time NBA 2K16 has been playable for consumers, and
in the United States.
In the United States. And the really exciting thing for me is I was sitting with a group of like maybe 4 or 5 guys that were just huddled up around one station and literally playing for like 8 straight hours, right?
Yeah, I had to rip you off the rip you away from those guys at the end of the show.
That's right. Just a lot of stuff to talk about and point out. You know, it's pretty crazy. It was a 1 minute, one quarter demo, about 5 minutes per quarter. And they were finding stuff literally every time they were playing something. We were pausing it probably.
Yeah, going into replay mode and just
it was crazy.
Losing their minds about how amazing it is. And you know, that wasn't the only thing that we really wanted to support. I mean, all of that demo time for those guys really supplemented what we were announcing in terms of gameplay, which we'll get into in a second. But more about the experience.
Yeah, it was really great. And I mean, like, shout out to like Operation Sports and, you know, people on YouTube. All kinds of fans that came out to the consumer event, but also, you know, the GameStop managers that got to see a first taste and some exclusive stuff on their end for the broadcast. That was really fun.
The dev team was really excited about it too. Like they kept calling us and being like, "Hey, what are the guys thinking?" What you know, like they were so excited to really have that first hands-on with the folks. So it was really great. Lots of learnings, and but everybody was so excited. I mean, and then obviously the gameplay stuff hit. But even before we get there, again, I wanted to reinforce when we were playing. Like there was so many things that we'd see, like the foot planning that is referenced in obviously the video and the gameplay blogs.
Yes.
But it's just such a difference, right? Like you get the ball, you can release it right away, and you're not, you know, it's just a lot more fluid, and you just have to get your hands on. Which we'll talk about the opportunity to do that in a second, but
for sure. I mean, really, the physics is the one thing that stands out to me, right? One thing that the tremendous gameplay team has done is created basketball simulation on just an entirely new level, right? You mentioned it, super fluid. The foot planting, you feel the weight of players, right? The living world, right? So if you haven't seen the Living World trailer, you've been living under a rock, go check it out on our YouTube page, NBA 2K on YouTube. You can check out the trailer. And then we had 3 gameplay blogs, in-depth gameplay blogs drop.
They were all massive.
Massive, huge amounts of information, way too much for us to cover. So what I say to you simply is if you haven't seen it, call a friend, call your mama, call your sister, call your brother, call the person you're going to beat come September 25th, and tell them to go study up on what is included in this year's games. We have Mike Wang, of course, lead gameplay developer, that went in and wrote a blog on offense, defense. Scott O'Gallagher went in and wrote a very much more in-depth blog, more kind of expanding on the things of gameplay.
Much more in-depth. That's an understatement.
Much more in-depth, yeah. And then, of course, the guru, the czar, writing up on you know, play calling and some of the adjustments that they've made to the AI.
And how the various play systems work, right? He talked about the Princeton
amazing.
offense. He talked about the triangle offense.
Yeah.
All the kind of tweaks and changes there. Very cool. And here we go with audio. We're through the storm. We've navigated through the storm.
Good luck, boys.
We're good? Yeah. So we had an audio storm. It's just one thing after another today. Technology is not on our side. Well, I mean, our news was so much fire that it just blew up the system.
That's right.
That's pretty amazing.
But yeah, going back to some of the stuff that they were writing about, I mean, you really get an in-depth look. And the nice thing is, if you're looking for like 5v5 clips, you know, oh, I want to see gameplay, there's little snippets in there.
Yep.
The team did a great job of not only just writing about, but actually showcasing
Giving
some
examples.
of these. Yeah, I mean, from foot planting to the way, you know, movement works, curling off of screens. Like, there's so much to talk about, it'd almost be impossible. So if you want to check out those blogs, head over to our friends over at operationsports.com. They have all 3 blogs up. You can read about them. You can check out the video of the living worlds if you want to see some stuff in action from a top-level view.
Yeah.
And you can really read the nitty-gritty details. I mean, they have stuff like the Jordan rolls in the basketball game. Like, that is actually in our game this year. There's so much that's just a testament to how hard you know, our development team has been working this year and really wanting to bring that level of basketball authenticity from every small, minute detail into the game this year.
So, I mean, it's a lot of information. We don't want to bore you guys, spend a lot of time rehashing a lot of it, but one thing I will ask you, Chris, is what was kind of one of your favorite things in there?
For me, it's definitely the defensive improvements, right? And cleaning up, you know, Scott likes to call it, you know, cleaning up that cheddar, you know what I mean? Going in, one of the things that these guys sat with me, they said, okay, you know, there were things that maybe were, you know, imbalanced last year that the community kind of got their hands on, and they wanted to go in and just try them out right away.
Yeah.
Stuff like left to right, stuff like, you know, certain crossovers in the game, just movements, and there was a myriad of reasons why those things are happening.
At the GameStop Manager Show, everybody was trying to do all of the various cheeses from over the years, not just last year, but years before. And it was amazing. Like, people could not figure out things to do. Though you mentioned the left-right cheese and how we sort of addressed that, like being able to kind of punish you for doing that over the course of time. So it just brings a lot more balance to the game. But sorry, continue.
It does, and now you have defensive feedback, so I think that's going to help players understand what position they need to be in defensively and with what kind of players, and if you're in good defensive position or you're not, right? We've always had feedback on offense, good shot, bad shot, right? The shot meter, the improvements to that meter. Like, when you start feeling this and reading and seeing all the improvements, to me the biggest thing is defense. You saw the clip if you've read one of the blogs. I believe it was in Scott's blog. You had the defense of Anthony Davis going up and blocking Dwight, and it was a quick block, and he's up and down immediately, right? It's not this slow, you know, blocking animation or something that's going to take a lot of time. I mean, you're in and out of these things, and the nice thing is it's all like physics-based, right? So everything has context and everything has meaning. You feel that, like Mike Wang, I believe, said, all the collisions are more visceral. It's an amazing feeling when you start, you know, playing the game and you get your hands on it. So yeah, defensively, this is the best defense we've ever had in an NBA game. The game has done, the team has done an incredible job of adding just so much on the defensive end, and to me, you know, no more easy buckets. Like, you're going to have to work for your baskets this year, and there's a lot of reasons to that. Like I said, if you haven't read them, go check out the blogs. You're going to want to read all the improvements to the defense, the offense, the game in general, but also the AI that you're going to have to go up against.
I'm so glad you brought up the AI. There have been a lot of changes, that whole reference to the living world, but being able to, I mean, people are moving without the ball better than they had before, coming off the screens, running screens more often. And you know, the other thing that you were talking about with defense, I'm just kind of riffing off you, sorry, is hedging, right? Like, it's not just about playing that one-on-one defense. It's about the gambles that you take on playing defense. If you go for steals, you better hedge your bet with, you know, having somebody back you up. So there's a lot of, like, really small things in terms of gameplay, because we've always had the best gameplay experience that there is. There's been, you know, things that we've needed to always address over the years, but this is a lot of these small things have added up to this very, very large thing, and it really speaks to it's really a testament to how hard those guys have worked. I mean, like, we set that tone a while ago, right? Like, Scott and Mike and Jers, those guys have been talking about for a while, like, that we really want to make those strides this year in gameplay. Gameplay is everything, and being able to build that engine and look at it at kind of like a top-level strategy down, and then address all of these minor things like the you know, the zigzag cheese and stuff like that. It's really just come together as this really amazing thing. And then, you know, the most amazing part about it is that there'll be on-the-fly changes. So, like, even if you know, we continue to have a couple issues at launch in terms of like which shots are going in and like step backs and all that stuff, it can be addressed and
Right away,
without a patch. And that's, I mean, we've taken a huge amount of pride and taken it to this other level. The guys have done a great job of that. But to be able to tweak on the fly is going to make a world of difference.
Offline and online too. So it's two different tweaks that Mike and his team could go in. The engineers did an incredible job of building this like under the hood type of system, like I like to refer to it as. So if people start to find something that maybe is a little bit imbalanced, instead of waiting for a patch, you can get in there and address it right away, right? You can tune the shooting sliders and stuff like that. So I think that's really uber important when it comes to the competitive side of 2K and those fans that are wanting this competitive game to be super balanced, right? You want a 50-50 balance, right? And in sports, you have the variables, of course, but I think when a game needs to be competitive, when you consider esports, you have to have that 50-50 balance as close as possible.
And the ability to continue to adjust to 50-50.
Correct.
Because things happen over the course of a year that kind of imbalance it in a way.
Sure.
Like that happens for every game in the industry. And but for the ability for us, like never before, to tweak on the fly. Will make a difference. But again, like there's other bigger things that have happened, like stepping into shots and being able to kind of catch the ball and release right away. Like I know it doesn't sound like this huge sophisticated thing, but there's a lot going on around us. It's made the system a lot better. So we keep talking about it, and the challenging part is between the card frying and a bunch of other things we don't get to show you. But again, in the OS blogs, there is a little bit of gameplay, and we're going to talk about a chance to check out gameplay very, very soon, which we'll get to in a second.
One last thing defensively, I like that you and I have played a handful of games now, right?
Yep.
And now we can talk about a couple of these. Going up and forcing players into bad shots, I think in the past a lot of the defensive feedback we got from a lot of the community was like, I'm forcing him into a bad shot and he shouldn't make that shot, right? Or I'm playing good defense on him, right?
Yeah.
That you feel in NBA 2K16, like you're playing that defense.
You deserve a shot
rewarded.
to go in when it goes in, and you deserve to stop when you played good defense.
And like I said, you have that feedback now, so you know as a defender, all right, I'm playing him right. I'm forcing him into a bad shot, or I'm letting him go to the side that maybe he's stronger at, so now I'm not playing the best defense, right? Like all that is taken into account. I think it's just very important when it comes to having a great defensive system inside 2K. And we've, the dev team's been listening. We've been listening for sure. And I'm just really excited for you guys to get your hands on it. And we're only 3 weeks away now. So
if you pre-ordered, we're 2.5 weeks away.
2.5 weeks away. And here's the thing. So what's next, right? So we have the gameplay out there. We have these gameplay
before we
blogs.
get into what's next, there is one other thing that we announced over the week last week.
Yes.
There was a lot of things. In the last 2 weeks, it's been a bunch of info, and of course, follow our social media.
And more this week.
To catch up, and of course, more this week. But the other thing that got people really excited was on the GameStop broadcast, we announced the 9th and 10th historic team from the last 15 years. That brings our total up to 10 of 12. But we're well over 40 historic teams overall, and we're the only game that does that, which is very cool. But 2 more to go on Thursday. But the 2 that were announced last week are 2 of my favorite teams in the last 15 years: the 05-06 Heat and the 04-05 Phoenix Suns. The Joe Johnson, young Joe Johnson.
Nash in his prime.
Nash
in his sharpshooter, deadly.
Amare was dominating like no one else. That team's a lot of fun, and of course that Heat team is going to be fun.
That
to play
was
with.
one of the most requested teams I think I've seen.
No, literally when we posted the other Heat team, my Instagram just got
05-06.
swarmed.
What are you guys thinking?
I was like, just because we announced one Heat team doesn't mean there's not a second one.
And here's the thing, we want to get everybody in there, right? Like we are striving to get everybody in there, and that's how hard our team works to get these historic teams and these historic players in the game. And we still have a couple more things to announce when it comes to both historic teams and players.
Yes, we do.
So I would keep a close eye this week. This is the time where information's ramping up, and
I was looking at our asset calendar, and it feels like we're releasing something every day, basically every weekday between now and launch.
It's going to be a lot of fun.
Or every other day.
So speaking of gameplay, Ronnie, and fans had their first chance to get their hands on. What is next? So what can we expect that's next?
So a lot's going on. You just referenced a couple of the legend stuff, but now speaking of like actual hands-on gameplay, so a few weeks ago we referenced a community day that coming up. We've been actually planning that behind the scenes for a while,
Yep.
and it's going to be a different take than it has been in years past. It's actually taking place this Thursday. Five people from the community have already been, you know, are coming out here. They already know that they're going to be out here. The 5 guys are Shakedown 2012, who has been here, I want to say every single year that we've done a community day. So, serious gameplay guy. He'll give you all the goods on gameplay. Sub the Gamer, who many of you guys are very familiar with. But now we've also wanted to open up to some new people because there's a lot of guys that do really great videos about us. B00100, you guys should look him up. Very avid fan and knows his basketball stuff. Very, very high basketball chops. Two Bros Gaming. We had Robbie come in last year.
Yep.
Was it the year before? Definitely last year. Just last year. My team expert knows the stuff. Really, we want to talk about things that are left. And then who's the 5th? Stacks. So Stacks is the 5th. We're still trying to persuade Chris Move to come out because one of the big beats that we still have left, as you guys know, is my career. And you know, we would love that to happen. So we'll see if we can arrange that. But feel free to tweet Chris if you guys would like him to come. So those are our 5, maybe 6. The event's happening on this Thursday. Those guys are going to get to talk about gameplay, their experiences. We're hoping to allow them to capture and take home and make videos about it, whatever they want to do. But really, it's about, you know, discussing career, and that's, you know, it's obviously a big part of what we're doing. Spike Lee's involved. So career is very, very much right around the corner, and we are so excited, you know, what's in store there. So, yeah, our next broadcast or two is going to be a lot of fun.
Very fun. Alongside that, we also have press coming in on Thursday, so it is a mixed event, and we have a lot to talk about over the course of the next 2.5, 3 weeks.
Yeah.
My park, my career, some very in-depth questions about how is this all gonna play out? You know, what's included? All that's coming, and we're really excited to share that
2K Pro
information.
Am, my team.
Mm-hmm. My team is coming this week.
Yep.
And I know a lot of fans are excited for my team, especially you guys, you know, tune into these broadcasts and stuff. So what the team has done for my team is absolutely incredible as well. I mean, everything along the way that we've announced, you know, we've been really focused on trying. I think you're seeing a consistent theme of like we're listening to our fans, we're listening to our community. The devs have been listening to fans, listening to the community, and then just taking it to another level on everything we're doing, right?
Yeah, the modes that we've announced so far, My League, My GM, the level of sophistication there.
My League Online,
people
of course,
were very excited about that. Yep. Obviously, the gameplay stuff was blown out to the extreme. So every one of those modes, you guys are going to see the level of depth, and you know, like the dev team has been so excited to get this stuff out there, and you know, they're helping us a lot with these marketing assets and stuff. So
and the blogs, right? Like I think
the blogs.
I mean, you guys tweet us and let us know what you guys are thinking. I think a lot of the people are really appreciating these blogs and these in-depth write-ups, right, as opposed to just like a top-level view or top-level video or something like that. We
have to do both. We have to do both.
I mean, the games are so complex, right?
Yeah.
No one person, maybe outside of like Eric Benish, you know, the amazing Eric Benish, can sit down and talk My League or My GM. You know what I mean? Like, there's so much there, and their teams have been working incredibly hard on modes, right? So those guys are focused on those modes. We have a team that's designated to my team that's been working very hard on my team. And we also talk about with my team. I know you guys are on cloud 9 ready to hear about some of my team. We're going to get it this week.
We also haven't talked about generally about online and like just the head-to-head experience. So that's going to be another one of them. I mean, there's still a few beats left. So
what does that mean this year? I wonder.
We're very excited for the last 2.5 weeks. So
for sure.
But the 5 guys, maybe 6 that are going to be out here, you know, we'll get to take footage that of their experience, and then a lot of stuff that is coming up that to supplement our remaining beats. So
that's always a tough thing too, because it's like we're limited to how many people we can actually bring out here and stuff. And if it was up to me, I'd bring out 1,000 people, right? I just have those doors opening up. And
but we want to put it in the place of people that can make can spread the message and tell the story. And that's why we encourage, like, I think this is a really good testament of it's not the same, we're not recycling the same guys. We really, want to encourage people that work hard over the course of the year and put out very good, insightful assets, are positive advocates in the community.
For sure.
We encourage you guys to do that, and anybody who's got a shot, we might recycle some of the old guys again. We just want to find a nice balance, and the ones that are want to talk about our game.
For sure. I mean, listen, these guys have all criticized as well, and I think that's fair. It's just we ask that you don't cross that line of like personally attacking the dev team or something like that. That's like a big no-no in my book, right? Like if you're going to do that, it's hard for us to say, hey, we want this guy to come out.
They read everything.
Right, and they see everything too, like because they are looking at videos, they are looking at Operation Sports, they are looking at community forums and the NeoGAFs of the world, right? They see everything. That's why they're able
the
to
amount
make
of
these
the amount of
games.
work that they do on the game, and now they've gone out of their way. You talked about the blogs. I mean, those blogs are not.
For sure.
It's not easy to write a 15-page essays.
No. No.
I did like doing that in high school. So,
but you know what? It's amazing that we're finally getting to that place. We're getting closer. So you know all the information. I know fans of every mode are just chomping at the bit for their modes.
There's also things that people have no idea that are coming that are going to be very fun to get out there.
I can't wait for that.
Yeah.
But I think with the growth of like YouTube gaming, and you see guys with big numbers that are getting their content there, but you're also seeing some of these up-and-comers, right? The guy at the GameStop Expo just started his channel. I retweeted him last night, some of his feedback from playing the game for 8 straight hours and hanging and talking with us and pausing it and asking all the questions that are on his chest. And this is a hardcore 2K player that's been playing for years, right? He had every question in the book being thrown from a gameplay standpoint, and just seeing new up-and-comers. You all right over there?
She's dying.
She's so excited about NBA 2K16. She's literally choking. Don't worry. You got 2.5 weeks, and you can make it. But
you got questions before you die?
But the really great thing about the YouTube gaming platform.
Yes, I need questions before you die.
And the rise of Twitch is that we can have these new guys
good question.
and new people playing the game essentially come in, create content, and get that content curated to the top through these different various platforms. And that's the stuff that we're always looking at, and it excites me because I was a content creator before I got here.
Yeah.
And it's something that I hold closely, and I know our team, everywhere appreciates.
Yeah, I think those guys are going to have get a lot of perspective of how things happen here, and get a very, very good taste of the rest of our campaign, which is
And boy, oh boy, do we have a lot to talk about.
It's going to be really exciting the next couple of weeks. 2 real quick questions I got while my phone rings. The question is, I pre-ordered from the Xbox One store, but it says available to play $9.29. Will I still be able to play at $9.25? If you pre-ordered, yes, you will. We can check why it says $9.29, but you will most certainly be able to play $9.25.
Correct.
And then, when will the winner of the Spike Lee casting call be announced? That is a great question. So, we have we're down to just about down to a final 5. Spike is just letting us know what his final 5 are.
Yep.
He got down to 10. He's like, I really want to pick 10, but we're like, you have to pick 5, Spike. So down to the final 5. We're going to put those on a website, and then you guys are all going to vote for those 5. Well, the person that wins, hopefully, will be in our office next week and probably come check out the game as well, which is pretty exciting.
Yes.
We'll get scanned and then put into the video at the launch event, which is 2 weeks from yesterday. So, that's crazy.
I mean, we are in the final stretch here.
Stretches.
This is that time where.
But career, last year, this is, we talked about career next week, and that's what we're looking like this year as well. So I'm really excited about the career stuff. You know how much I play career.
I think everybody
I'm
is,
an avid fan. I mean, obviously, it's one of our most played modes.
It's our most played mode, actually. And when you think about my career. What people know as of now is Spike Lee is bringing this amazing story, this amazing narrative to the mode.
But what does that mean?
But what else is to the mode, right? Like,
Yeah.
it's just that's one aspect of what my career will be. And it is going to be something special. So we're going to, slowly unveil bits and pieces of that over the next couple weeks.
Yeah, it's going to be also fun to get these guys in here on Thursday, grab gameplay footage, put it out there. You and I probably need to do, we haven't talked about this, we probably should, our yearly head-to-head matchup. It's tricky this year because like we have the last broadcast before the game comes out. Yeah. We will not be here.
Right.
We've traveled a lot more than we have in previous years together, which is unusual. Usually we try to alternate.
I think I'm going to roll with my Lakers again.
I thought you were going to play the Legend team.
Now you have a bigger problem this year than you did last year when I was.
Because the Lakers are not horrible.
Kobe jar today.
He hasn't mentioned it.
Oh.
I know, it's crazy.
But,
that's the first reference.
I will say that.
Don't you do it.
We must be getting close to launch.
I will say that you got more to worry about than Kobe now.
Yeah,
you got D'Angelo,
Lakers are a little
Julius
bit better.
Randle. I got Clarkson running the wing.
They're still not making the playoffs, but they're better.
You guys
That's fine.
The Suns of the Pacific, or I guess they're in the Pacific too.
Yeah.
So we'll definitely have to do it again. Maybe next week we can get it done.
Maybe.
We'll see what we can do. That Thursday event's going to be a major initiative. So it's going to be fun having those guys here. So follow those guys on Twitter. Again, it was Sub the Gamer, Yostex, B000100.
Shakedown.
Two Bros Gaming, and Shakedown 2012. Follow those guys. I'm sure they'll be, piping up about what they've got going on. I'm sure they'll release videos, Friday, maybe Monday, and yeah.
And the other aspect to it too is understand that this is like a reveal event, right? Kind of like similar to a couple years ago when we had the press and community kind of meshed together, and we had that event for NBA 2K14 Next Gen. I remember that was held in San Francisco. It is more of a reveal event, right? Like we've been talking.
It's about all of our modes.
We've been talking a lot,
specifics.
About maybe getting a certain group of guys that come in like in January, right? And they can kind of sit in and weigh in maybe on like almost like a council where they can weigh in on like decisions of the future,
what the features are going to be,
in 2K17. So
the ideas people and then the promoting people.
For sure, yeah. So
we need to do both.
We do need to do both, and it's something that dev teams open up to, which is these guys are working so crazy hard.
Yeah.
It feels like just yesterday.
I know.
2K15 was launched, and then here comes the 2K16 ideas, and then looking forward, and then here we are, and we got a lot to still get out there. But I'm really excited that for those at the core of NBA 2K, for those that play our game, it's always the gameplay, and the base gameplay this year, in my opinion, is the biggest leap we've ever had in the franchise history, and it is absolutely fantastic from both ends of the court.
Yes, please watch the Living World trailer if you haven't seen it. I'm sure everybody that watches us has. The 3 blogs are really great.
I love how she stays off cameras.
Yeah. PC news. PC is fully functional with. To every announcement we've made so far, PC is the same. As far as
there's a question on there on pre-ordering. You want to get in there before September 25th because once that clock strikes midnight,
you're no longer a pre-order.
That's true. And the great thing about it is you're going to own the weekend, right? You're going to get in there.
It's a Friday. So one other thing that I didn't talk about at the GameStop Manager Show, one thing I was doing was I was presenting to the GameStop managers alongside the rest of our great marketing team. And it was amazing. Like a lot of these GameStop managers are some of our biggest fans.
Right.
I mean, it's funny, like a lot of them, have watched our broadcasts and like follow us on Twitter religiously and stuff.
Shout out to you, GameStop
seriously.
managers out there.
But it was, they were so thrilled. We got to give them a little behind the scenes peek at my career and some of the other things, and the level of enthusiasm, being able to present to this crowd of so many people, it's a little nerve-wracking. But when they're so excited about what you're talking about, it definitely takes the edge off. So
for sure.
Shout out to the GameStop guys. It was a very fun week, and it's just setting the tone for what's going to be a great next couple weeks.
So 2 final teams being announced on Thursday. 2 historic teams.
Yeah, which ones do you guys think they'll be? I'd love to hear it. Last time it was like 0506E, 0506E. That's what you guys should do. So I'm looking forward to seeing what you guys think
It's
we should do.
amazing, you know, on top of all the old historic, I should say old, but all the historic teams that were in the last couple of years, we're bringing out, you know, 12 new teams, and it's just
Just from
awesome.
the last 15 years.
And we've had a lot of fun. Like, we've had matchups, the 07, 08 Houston Rockets.
I'd say we played
2000,
those
2001
teams
Lakers.
more than we've played
Regular teams at
current
this point.
teams or
Well, it's just
historic
fun.
teams, anything.
It's fun to go down, you know, memory lane.
It's fun to play with the new
Yeah.
teams. That's why we, you know,
There was a great-
tried so hard to get them in
There was a
there.
great article up on Bleacher Report today talking about how, you know, we care as much about the past as we do, you know, moving forward. And it's true. Like, some of these
So do
players,
our fans,
some of our
right?
fans weren't even born when some of these guys
But somehow they
retired.
still,
You know what I mean?
they still play them.
Oh, it's amazing.
It's a great historical. You remember that Mark Cuban
Oh, yeah,
interview?
absolutely.
Yeah, like we have a mechanism to educate a normal person about basketball almost as well as the NBA product
That's
does
right.
itself. So that's that's really something that we take seriously.
It's going to be special. And, you know, listen, adding these teams is a reason we're doing it. And we want to give you guys the most enjoyable, in-depth experience that you guys have ever had in a basketball game. And, you know, again, just a major shout out to Visual Concepts and all our developers over there. They're absolutely killing it this year. I think everybody here internally is just super excited and more excited that we're in that final stretch. You know?
Hello there. Are you
I know
struggling?
the big questions are, what are you guys doing with the park? You know, how are you going to balance
What are
out
you
your
doing-
my
what
players
are you
for
doing with
Pro-Am?
career?
What are you doing with my career? My team this week? Like, what does this all mean, right? So, you know, it's fun to kind of get down to this point in the year, and we're so close, and I think the ultimate reward is getting the game in your hands, right? Where we can all kind of, you know, play the game and just watch that enjoyment of seeing the competition rise up in 2K Pro.
See,
That's
that
gonna be
week,
interesting.
the
And-
week that the game comes out is always so exciting.
Yeah,
I mean,
for sure.
you know, all of a sudden everybody has it and everybody is talking about it, everybody wants to play it. I always look forward to. I mean, that's always the most exciting year for both the Visual Concepts team and,
sure.
you know, and everybody that works at 2K.
But lots more news coming your way.
Yeah, I mean, again,
Lots.
multiple assets this week.
Yep.
And then, you know, all the way through, we got 2.5 weeks to go. So
Well, unfortunately, you can't see anything, can't show anything.
yeah,
but,
that does
we
suck.
should work on that for next week. And
Yeah, let's
I
figure
think-
out. Let's figure out the one-on-one gameplay. We got to do that either next
Yeah.
week or the week after.
Now, what's the record? I think you beat me. No, I don't think you beat me yet.
What are you talking
Hold
about?
on, 2K12.
I beat you the first year, and I beat you.
2K12, you.
I think we're 2-2. No, how long have you been here?
2K13, I won. That was the Kobe game winner. 2K14, I won. I'm pretty sure I won.
No,
2K13.
I thought I won 2K13.
No,
We're gonna
I-
have to go back to the books. I bet Flight Mirror or one of those guys knows.
I bet you they're like, don't you guys remember? We've had so many games like.
I
some of
remember.
the games,
I remember
you know,
last.
some of
last
the
you
games we
remember
won
what
last
happened
year.
last year? A couple days before we
I
played our
do.
broadcast,
I do.
beat you by
You
40
creamed-
points,
you
and
creamed
then
me.
and then
When they
you
were
beat me on the
when
broadcast.
they were fixing something on Final Build, I might add.
Yeah.
But yeah, you know, it's gonna be a lot of fun, and I look forward to royally spanking you with my Los Angeles Lakers this year, who
Wow.
will make the playoffs despite what hater Ronnie says. So
I'm sure they will. So yeah, please tune in for everything the rest of the week. We'll be back on our broadcast next week. Hopefully, we can show you guys a little bit more of the game itself. But if not, you know, at least we have the community on
Yes.
Thursday, and those guys will be going home with some footage. And I promise you that
and impressions.
next week's broadcast is going to be there's going to be a lot to talk about. So very exciting.
Enough talking, more showing.
Yeah.
I see you out there.
Yeah,
You know who you are.
we hear you, but it's going to be good. Some of our most core fans, the
Yeah.
ones that are most excited, are going to be here with us on Thursday,
Can't
the
wait.
day after tomorrow. So
Can't wait.
very exciting.
I mean, it was fun. It was fun to be in Vegas. It was fun to, have that
Now
moment
you come
of
to our
actually-
home turf.
That's right. And unlike Vegas, they're gonna see what my career is about and get
Yeah,
ready for
that's true.
some major news coming your way. And I can't. That's not an understatement. Like, I'm very excited about what my career is bringing this year.
Yeah.
It's I've said it on a few broadcasts. It's probably, you have those moments when you play video games. We're all here because we love playing, right? But you have those moments where you do something, right? You hit a buzzer beater against your friend, for example, and that like lives on. That could have happened, in my case, 2K4. I hit a full court shot with Karl Malone to beat my friend, right? never ever have let him like live. Like I've always
Never
rubbed that
let
in
him
his
live
face.
down.
Like it's been over 10 years. 11 years later, we still talk about that shot,
Yeah.
right? Because we had those like storied like matchups, right?
Yep.
My career this year, you have those moments that just like resonate. To me, it's like one of the top single player like gaming experiences that I've
Yeah.
ever had. It is absolutely fantastic,
Obviously,
and I cannot wait to share this
Obviously,
news
we're
with you.
geeked out to talk about it. So before we spill too many beans, we should probably call this broadcast. But please, if you haven't, read the blogs.
Yep.
So much information you want to pack in there. And thank you guys that have helped us convey that message over the last week, especially when Chris and I were out.
Yes.
We really appreciate it. And again, we look forward to hearing what you guys have to say about everything always, but definitely when our your core fans are in here with us watching, looking at the game. So we
gonna
look
be
forward to
fun.
Thursday, but lots of assets coming. So stay tuned, and we will be back with you guys next Tuesday for what should be a pretty fun broadcast.
My team news this week.
Yes.
Make it rain. Questions.
Thanks, guys. We'll see you next Tuesday again. We apologize for the technical difficulties, but yes,
Keep on going.
We'll make it
Show
work.
must go on.
Thanks,
Ronnie
guys.
2K.
We'll see you next Tuesday. Bye, LD2K.
Hashtag.